I'd like to start with the quote by Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon. A report found that Facebook has created more than 440,000 new jobs. Unfortunately, photos posted on Facebook has ended 550,000 jobs. While this quote may not be statistically accurate, given that it's from a comedian, it does give us something to think about. What is your personal brand? As with most things in life, when it comes to a career, it's important to do your research, plan, and take the necessary steps in order to advance. Employment trends have changed. An applicant can no longer provide a list of things they've done and say, hire me. An employer wants to see evidence of those skills they deem are important for the position. During the interview, you are ranked at how well you fit within the culture of that workplace, making people skills and the ability to work in a team more essential than ever. What hasn't changed is the power of networking. At least 70% of jobs are still found in this way. Some positions never even get posted onto a job board. How we network, on the other hand, has dramatically shifted due to technology. Think about all the ways we get information and how that has evolved over the last few years, from publications to news, national news, even television and radio. I mean, how many streaming services do you subscribe to? It's no wonder that digital platforms has shaped many aspects of our lives, including how we interact with one another, how we communicate, and even our career paths. Connecting with others professionally now requires a knack for social networking. I started my career, as it was stated, in higher education over 20 years ago. I know, hard to believe, right? I was an admission counselor recruiting students to a small public university in Southern Ohio. After I took a brief break doing corporate recruiting, I actually came back into higher education as an academic counselor, working with those students getting ready to graduate from the university and transitioning for life after college. During that same time, our division went through a major leadership change, which caused a lot of reorganization. I was approached to direct an office on the medical side of campus, not working with undergraduates, but with graduate and professional students in one of our 6 health colleges. I was shocked, to say the least. I mean, it came out of nowhere. I mean, why me? My mentor, who was the assistant to the VP of our division at the time, he shared with me that I stood out as a top choice because of my professionalism, communication skills, and really how my positive interaction has shaped the perception that those around campus as well in those health colleges had of me. So what does that say about my reputation? If I could be offered this opportunity without even having a full one-on-one conversation with my VP. What is your personal brand? Your personal brand plays a key part in networking and how you are perceived. You want your brand to be consistent and effective. Consider, how will you develop your mark in regards to your career? How will you communicate your skills, personality, and values? How will you build your reputation? And most importantly, how will you grow your network? Everyone has a personal brand, and it's defined by everything from what we wear to how we carry ourselves and everything we do. Think about the people you've been in class with or perhaps work beside. Has there been that person that everyone knows is really chatty and maybe known as the gossip? Or maybe there's that person that came in and did their work quietly and didn't really speak to anyone. And I'm sure we all know someone that we can count on to always show up late. If you're not taking control and managing your brand, that means others are doing it for you. There are 5 simple steps to building your brand. Step 1, understand your value. What do you do well, and who does that skill set best serve? What problems have you solved? Or new initiatives have you created? There are so many different ways that you can gain valuable transferable skills. Step 2, know what your value is worth. Research your career field and the industry you want to work in. Know the challenges your industry faces and how you are poised to help. There are positions today that didn't even exist 5 to 10 years ago. Step 3, show rather than tell. Create a digital platform that helps people visualize what you do. E-portfolios and LinkedIn are examples, great in allowing you to go beyond a typical resume. Concrete examples of your projects demonstrates what you can do way better than a bullet point. Step 4, deliver on your value consistently. This builds your professional reputation. Your network will easily refer you and provide testimonials when you can be counted on to deliver consistently. And then last, step 5, increase your value through education. Every career field has new knowledge and updates to how they do things. Having a mindset to continuously learn is a must if you are to stay on the cutting edge in your industry. When I was offered that director of our health center position, my VP saw evidence of my work ethic, programs that I had created, and how I was perceived by others. I was unsure if I would be capable of leading such an office. I mean, these students were almost my age and obtaining way further advanced degrees than I did. It was my mentor that reminded me of my value and what my value was worth. I may not have known anything about anatomy or pharmacology, but I knew how to support the academic and personal development of students. During my time in that position, my office established a mentorship program. We helped to create and support a new LGBTQ student organization for health professional students. And we helped develop a program to provide underrepresented pre-med students an opportunity to receive a medical school enrichment experience, which, by the way, this past summer hosted its 11th group, so it's still going strong. A well-defined brand, you see, allows you to establish credibility. It stands out to employers, and it overall will help you cultivate your career. As you build your network, your brand is what helps you to be personable and have more meaningful interactions. When you understand yourself and what you bring to the table, then you are better able to convey to others your value, your goal, and what you need to move forward in your career. Networking is such an important part of the job search process and ultimately building your career. And nowadays, your digital identity plays a key role in how you do that, and overall, what your reputation will be known. It's important to be intentional when you're developing your personal brand across all different social media platforms. You want to reflect who you are and what you can deliver. Your reputation is a precious commodity that should be protected and nurtured. Always remember to demonstrate your skills through your actions and to let your personality shine through. So, what will your personal brand be? Thank you.
Okay, so back to the question desk. Once again, an excellent speech from Kairise. And so a couple of questions we'll have for you, and be sure to send in your questions. I see a couple of them popping up now. In this time of COVID, which I think is very important to consider, how would you virtually break the ice with someone you want to network with?
To break the ice, especially over a digital platform such as LinkedIn, it's important to see what connection do you have. Are they an alum of the college that you attend? Did they have the same major or degree program that you were in? Maybe you have a shared hobby or interest. So make sure that you kind of look at their profile, perhaps do a little research of where they work or the type of position, and reach out by asking them a question pertinent to what they do. That will help them make that connection and accept you as a follower or friend on that network.
Very good. Next question. Do you think bringing a portfolio to a job interview that includes all the information, not only just the resume and the cover letter, is important?
It really depends on the type of job and the industry. Nowadays, there's a lot of digital portfolios, which allows you to send a link or put that link onto your resume. So you don't want to bring too much into the actual interview. Perhaps a copy of your resume, and if they want more information, a portfolio. If you're in more of a creative profession, then certainly having the actual portfolio with you that shows pictures and copies of your work is acceptable. But for most industries, being able to send an e-portfolio works better.
All right, so great questions coming in. Here's the next one. What are the steps you are taking to give advice to help students become successful with life before or after graduation during these uncertain times?
So some of the steps that I took myself or advised students, definitely you want to explore what you really are interested in. My philosophy to actually starting college to begin with is not start with what major. I know that's pressure when you're filling out applications, but really think about what type of work do you want to do? Where do you feel like you can have an impact? What are those things you enjoy doing that perhaps could translate into some sort of work? And then find a way to mirror that with the environment. So you may want to be an accountant, like our student speaker earlier, but if you really enjoy traveling in the outdoors, perhaps look for that type of company to work as an accountant. That way you're in that environment that you really enjoy and be passionate about. Because nowadays we do not have the luxury of staying at one employer 20, 30, 40 years like our parents and grandparents did. A lot of times you have to be flexible and be able to meet the challenges and the needs of our economy. And sometimes that means changing positions. I didn't always work in higher ed, and I've definitely had different roles within higher ed. But I think when you have that flexibility and that sense of growth, then you're able to change with the times.
Okay, excellent advice, and one last question from our viewers. What is your advice on how to clean up past negative post on social media, as you were talking about the personal brand?
Make sure when you are on the different social media platforms, because we all have personal lives, make sure that you have your privacy settings set. That way, if an employer does search for you, they're not able to see a lot of that personal information. If you have something really derogatory, perhaps a picture that's not really representative of you, go ahead and make sure that you delete it. But remember, try not to post those personal things in the first place, because once it's out there, it's really hard to move. But I think moving forward, if you try to create maybe a separate professional account and use that to really focus on your work and things that you're passionate about, then sometimes that can override an earlier mistake.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate your insight on life and success today.